Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski is one of 7 Republicans who voted to convict former President Trump in his second impeachment trial. And she says she will now run for re-election. Murkowski is the only one of those Republicans who is up for re-election and is running in 2022. Joining us now, Niall Stanage, White House columnist for The Hill. Niall, let's first hear a little bit of video Murkowski put out announcing that re-election.
In this election, lower 48 outsiders are going to try to grab Alaska's Senate seat for their partisan agendas. They don't understand our state. And frankly, they couldn't care less about your future.
Okay, so now what is she referencing here in that clip?
So I smiled at that clip because it's a very Lisa Murkowski moment. It's kind of smiling while throwing a combination punch. One thing that she's referencing, I think, Adrian, is her desire to make this about Alaska, not to bring national politics into it too much. But she's also referencing her Trump-backed opponent, Kelly Tshibaka, who left Alaska in adolescence and only returned there in 2019. So Lisa Murkowski clearly trying to portray herself as the person who can champion and represent Alaskan values.
It's interesting because obviously we're in a time where the GOP is at least efforting to have a platform of bringing the country together, make America great again. So when she's saying the lower 48 outsiders are coming in, it's almost as if she's isolating Alaska. And is that going to work?
Well, you know, I'm not an expert on Alaskan thinking, but my sense is that a lot of Alaskans quite like their independence, or this idea that it is a place apart. So that sort of appealed to a sense of Alaskan cultural independence might be politically effective, even though I do take your point that it does seem to be very much separating the state from the lower 48.
Yeah, I thought we were the United States of America, but what am I to? I'm not an Alaska politics expert either, but Niall, we'll have to get into that. Can you explain how this and other elections might be seen as a proxy fight between former President Trump and Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell?
Oh, for sure. I mean, Mitch McConnell is very much an institutional, traditional Republican, and he supports incumbents getting re-elected in almost all circumstances. In President Trump, you clearly have a very different figure. He doesn't like McConnell, for the start, but also President Trump sees himself correctly, I think, as the sort of champion or standard bearer of his base, of the MAGA battalions, and that's why he has backed a challenger to Lisa Murkowski, despite the fact that she's an incumbent Republican senator.
And as we saw in Virginia with Glenn Youngkin's victory, the GOP leaders can win with Trump-era policies, or at least the platforms that President Trump championed, but not necessarily invoking his name. So will this continue to be the strategy here?
There are parallels, although I think there are slight differences as well. Glenn Youngkin, he didn't exactly sit on the fence as regards President Trump. He maybe tiptoed along the top of that fence, trying to be careful neither to alienate nor to fully back him. Murkowski is several notches further to the Trump skeptical side of the spectrum. She is quite moderate, but particularly with the standards of the current Republican Party. And obviously, President Trump wants her to be defeated. So that is different from Glenn Youngkin's case.
It sounds to me that Republicans and Democrats need to find one unifying, clear message, because obviously, there is a lot of diversity of thought between Republicans, meeting one, and you could live across the street from another one, and the same is true in Democrats' politics as well. Thank you, Niall, for being with us as always. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.